J16AA75 clear for takeoff. Roger that, Cessna J16AA55 clear for takeoff on runway 4A, over. Copy that, Cessna J16AA55 clear for takeoff on runway 4A. Tower 1, Cessna. Have a safe flight. Thank you, Tower 1. Tower 1 to Cessna J16AA75. We didn't receive your corrected flight distribution in flight chart. Over. Roger that. I'll redo before 1630 hours and resubmit. Over. 10-4. Mayday, Mayday. Cessna J16AA75 experiencing flight difficulty. Over. Mayday, Mayday. Cessna J16AA75 experiencing flight difficulty. Do you copy? Roger that, go ahead. Where's the nearest landing strip? Stand by. Cessna J16AA75, decrease flight path to 500 feet and proceed northwest at 6120 for approximately 2 miles. McClellan Air Force Base, all runways clear. Over. Roger that. Tower 1 proceeding at 6120, 2 miles northwest. McClellan Air Force Base. Over. Mayday, Mayday. Cessna J16AA75 going down at 1466. Tower 1 to Cessna J16AA75, repeat. Tower 1 to Cessna J16AA5. Do you copy? Cessna J16AA75. Do you copy? I think we lost him. Damn.
in heaven. So we lost her on earth, but we're going to see her again. And her music that God put in her heart for us will always be with us forever.
She was the ideal woman that you can look up to. She possessed angelic qualities, which are rare. That's why she was singled out, and she shone and shined like a star in heaven.
I actually took the day off from work today to be here because we all love her and we'll miss her.
She was born Aaliyah Houghton on January 16, 1979, in Brooklyn, New York. Her parents, Diane and Michael, moved her and her brother Rashad to Detroit when she was 5 years old. It was as a student at the Detroit School of the Arts that Aaliyah found that she had a talent and a passion as an entertainer. She was still in high school, making straight A's, when her uncle Barry Hankerson, who managed Gladys Knight and later the Winans, introduced her to Hankerson's protege, who was an up-and-coming producer in Chicago. R. Kelly and Aaliyah made beautiful music together, producing the platinum Age Ain't Nothing But a Number in 1994. Aaliyah was 15 years old. Later, when rumors surfaced that the 27-year-old Kelly had secretly married Aaliyah, her working-class parents stepped in. In a 1995 article in Vibe magazine, a marriage license bearing the names of R. Kelly and Aaliyah was published. No subsequent records or documents were found, but sources close to Aaliyah say that her parents, Michael and Diane, had the marriage annulled as Aaliyah was underage at the time of the marriage. In an exclusive interview with publisher Jamie Foster Brown, Aaliyah spoke about her relationship with R. Kelly. Sister to Sister magazine, how did the marriage license turn up? Was it real or was it a joke? Aaliyah, oh no, we were never married. Aaliyah's father, it was a friendship. It was a producer-friendship situation. Aaliyah, producer-artist strictly. Aaliyah withstood the firestorm of the R. Kelly fiasco to release her second album in the summer of 1996. One in a Million may be the signature work by Aaliyah, an album recorded while she began her senior year at Detroit School for the Performing Arts. The CD marked Aaliyah's transition from a pop and R&B performer to a hip-hop artist and balladeer. It also was her most successful release to date, selling close to 2 million copies. A lot of things were new for this rising star on her sophomore album. Aaliyah had switched labels and was now with Atlantic Records, which later merged with Virgin. New producers were also on board, Timberland and Jermaine Dupri, heavyweights in the industry who were able to blend the natural sultry voice of Aaliyah with a new style hip-hop beat, creating an unmatched musical symmetry. After 2 platinum albums, a failed marriage, a label change, and more success and acclaim than any entertainer twice her age, Aaliyah was ready to embark on the next phase of her illustrious career. Hollywood was calling, and Aaliyah was standing by the phone, Her first role was to star opposite martial arts master Jet Li in the action film Romeo Must Die. The filmmakers were careful to avoid any love scenes between Lee and Aaliyah, fearing a backlash and outcry because of the interracial relationship. It was feared that many of Aaliyah's fans would abandon her if she were to portray a sellout on the silver screen. The film was a modest success among filmgoers and critics, but for Aaliyah's fans and for the inner circle of Hollywood, Aaliyah was fast becoming a hot ticket. Romeo Must Die producer Joel Silver had produced the popular film The Matrix, starring Keanu Reeves. Silver, who was impressed with Aaliyah's work on Romeo Must Die, immediately signed her to star in the next 2 installments of The Matrix. Aaliyah recently completed the film Mistress of the Damned. It was her first starring role. As Aaliyah's acting career picked up steam, she made headway with 2 platinum soundtrack releases. It was Aaliyah's contribution to the 2001 Eddie Murphy film Dr. Dolittle that pushed the sequel soundtrack over 1 million units sold. Songs from the animated feature Anastasia and her own film Romeo Must Die created similar success. Riding the wave of her successful soundtracks at the turn of the millennium, Aaliyah was excited and poised to release her 3rd solo album. Simply titled Aaliyah, it was her most anticipated release to date. In a twist of fate, the success that Aaliyah was enjoying actually held up the release of this disc, as Virgin Records, which was now affiliated with Blackground Enterprises, Aaliyah's uncle and former manager's label, yet it was Atlantic Records, which had released One in a Million, and they were reluctant to lose an artist who was certainly hot. After settling their dispute, Virgin agreed to release the album, Aaliyah, on July 27, 2001. The first single, entitled Revolution, received heavy rotation on MTV and BET. The buzz was good, and Aaliyah was still hot. Virgin record executives quickly set in motion a plan to release the next single, Rock the Boat. Rolling Stone magazine said of the single, "The album's highlight is Rock the Boat, a masterpiece of unbridled salaciousness. Aaliyah breathlessly purrs sexual commands over an airy groove whose instrumentation swells against and then falls away from her voice. It shows that she has come into her own as a woman." It was hours after Aaliyah wrapped the video for Rock the Boat that she quickly headed toward the airport with 7 other members of her label and staff for what would be the fateful flight. In a day and age when cellular phones and two-way pages are the norm, the news of Aaliyah's death spread quickly. For most of us, the news first came over urban radio. As with most tragic news, at first many thought and hoped that this was simply a rumor. Prince had died a number of times, Luther Vandross and others. But soon after the rumors began, the news was confirmed. A light plane had suddenly crashed in the Bahamas, and Aaliyah and members of her video crew had perished. As can be expected, the outcry, shock, and outpouring of support was enormous. Immediately questions arose. It goes back to why. A former record executive who wishes to remain anonymous gives us his thoughts on the tragedy.
At first I want to say that I've been in the record industry for about 9 years now. I know the ins and outs of the record business, and I know how shady record companies can be. When it comes to spending money on the artists, they want the artists to make them a whole shitload of money, but when it's time to spend some money on the artists, they don't. And for the life of me, I can't understand why Aaliyah did not have a Lear jet, a corporate jet, take her to and from the Bahamas, to Miami, Florida.
On August 25, 2001, following a music video shoot from her self-titled album, Aaliyah, her bodyguard, and members of her record label and production crew boarded a twin-engine Cessna in Nassau of the Bahamas. Though the Bahamas boast of many tropical and modern pleasures, motion picture film and the highly technical and expensive hardware that is needed to make and process these films are not available on the tiny island. Film and the heavy cases that protect the cameras and other equipment necessary for a professional shoot must be flown in from nearby Miami, Florida. Sources in Miami say that Aaliyah had an important appearance scheduled for Saturday evening and that it was essential for her to get back to the U.S. that night. Little is known about why it was so important for the singer to take that particular flight, as these small shuttle flights leave the Bahamas regularly. According to officials with access to flight conversations prior to takeoff of the Cessna 402 plane, the pilot, Luis Antonio Morales Blaines, and members of Aaliyah's entourage bickered over the amount of equipment and luggage on board the tiny plane. Eyewitnesses in the tower tell of Blaines refusing to fly the plane until some of the equipment and/or luggage were taken off. Finally, after being overruled by the flight crew and supervisors at Mount Harbor International Airport, the plane was cleared for takeoff. What happens next is clearly speculation, but experts tell us that Blaines was correct in his determination that the flight was overloaded.
Now, Bill, you said that this plane seats 6 comfortably, right?
It's not comfortably, 6 people.
Oh,
yeah,
people.
It'll do it comfortably.
Looks
but
a little smaller than that.
No, there's plenty of room.
The 401 seats 9, correct? 8 or 9?
8 or 9. I'm not sure, because I've never flown one. I've seen them, but I've never flown one.
And you would say that their luggage, 8 people could comfortably fit in one of those planes, right?
If they're normal people, yes, you should be able to put 8 normal people. Now, if you had a couple of 300-pounders in that group, well, you might have a problem. You have to watch your maximum allowable gross weight. If you exceed it, you're illegal.
Which leads me to my next question. How does a pilot determine the weight of the luggage and the people on board and then make a decision as to who gets on, who gets off, what luggage is being brought on, and what luggage stays?
You can't ask somebody, what's your weight? But you can kind of figure, okay, she's about 120 and he's about 200. You can mentally get pretty close. And now the luggage, you can test that or check it. Okay. And if you determine that, wait a minute, that's too much, something has to stay, the pilot in command has the final decision. No matter what happens, it falls back on the pilot in command. And if he allowed it to go over gross, then he should have just said, I'm sorry, I can't take off.
Have you heard of other instances where pilots have said that they know that there's too much luggage or too much weight on the plane and they've gone anyway?
Not that I know of, no, not in people that I know, or incidents where there's problems that it wasn't a fact of overgross, no.
If indeed the plane were overloaded with equipment and luggage, as well as bodies, then it would have been nearly impossible to control the flight's trajectory and direction. Here again is aviation specialist Bill Hare.
Is there anything that you could think of that would make you or any other pilot change their mind about taking off when you know that there might be a little excess weight on the plane itself? Say in the instance of celebrities who are rushing to get somewhere, who have a deadline, can you think of any situation that would make you change your mind?
Not mine, because it's my life plus my passengers that I'm responsible for. If I allow it and anything happens, I'm responsible. And morally and legally, you just don't do that. It's not a good way to be an old pilot.
Right. Do you know of any pilots that have been, let's say, not forced, but coerced into taking off when they know that they probably shouldn't because of who is on board?
Not fellows that I know, or any instances that I know of, no.
Okay. In this particular case that we're talking about with Aaliyah, what do you think would make that pilot change his mind about taking off? If he knew that there was too much luggage, and they've talked about the fact that there was a discussion about too much luggage, well, what do you think would change his mind about taking off?
I don't think we'll ever know. I can't think of anything, because unless the guy said, you go or else I'm going to fire you, that's probably the only way. And to me, that's not a reason. I'd say forget it. Fire me. I'm not going to do this.
Right.
Though all initial reports indicate that the plane was indeed overloaded, Civil Aviation Department officials refused to confirm that the overloading was responsible for the tragedy. Lead investigator Randy Butler issued this statement. Shortly after the tragedy, attention focused not only on the weight of the plane and its cargo, but also on the circumstances surrounding the plane's pilot, Luis Antonio Blanes. Blanes, who lived in Florida and was born in Puerto Rico, died along with Aaliyah and her entourage. It was learned shortly after the crash that Blanes was not authorized to be behind the controls of a commercial flight. In addition to the fact that Blanes nor Black Hawk International Airways, the plane's charter, and Skystream, the registered owner, were licensed to fly commercial flights to and from the Bahamas, Blanes, just 2 weeks earlier, found himself in a Bahamas courtroom facing charges of crack cocaine possession as well as theft of airplane parts, along with other minor offenses. Blanes' fitness to fly is definitely a source of concern and remains under investigation.
My only understanding is that the record company is just cheap and they didn't want to do it. It would have cost about $10,000 to have that plane charter for her, but the fact that it wasn't done, to me, speaks volumes about the company. Over the years Aaliyah has had her record album and record career, she's made hundreds of millions of dollars for her record labels. Okay? So if that's the case, why was she on the equivalent of a fucking crop duster flying in the dead of night trying to get back to Miami, Florida? You know, don't take my advice. Just how do you feel about it? You know, you watching this program, how do you feel about that? Wouldn't you have rather have seen a star of this magnitude on a Learjet? Madonna don't fly no fucking crop duster. Ricky Martin don't fly no fucking crop duster. You know, Princess Diana wouldn't have flown no fucking crop duster. And Aaliyah is our equivalent of Princess Diana. So why the fuck was she on a crop duster? 2 reasons. Record companies are shady. Just like the rapper said, Eric Sermon, Rule 4080. Record companies are shady. It's just the way I feel about it. And the other reason I feel like Aaliyah died, and I know, this is my boy, but I got to let him have it, I feel like Damon Dash is responsible for her death. I feel like him not wanting to say how he really felt about it. He couldn't have cared. That's like putting your 2-year-old daughter on one of those fucking, like I said, crop dusters. Would you put your daughter on one of those at night? No, you wouldn't, Damon. You wouldn't do it, nigga. You know? What you'd want to do is hire her a fucking Learjet. You flying around with Jay-Z, back and forth all over the fucking world on world tours and shit. You niggas ain't flying no motherfucking crop dusters. Why is she on one? So I mean, you know what I mean? You can point fingers, but what the fuck? That's all we got to do. Because she's dead, she's not coming back, and it's somebody's fault. It might be the pilot's fault, but beyond that, she shouldn't have been on that fucking plane, man. Would a pilot who smokes crack been arrested for stealing airplane parts? This motherfucker probably stole something off the plane. That's why the motherfucker went down. We don't know. It's just, it ain't cool.
Aaliyah's longtime boyfriend was Rockefeller Records president Damien Dash. Dash and Aaliyah planned to wed according to Dash. Dash had recently purchased this $8.5 million Beverly Hills estate. The couple had made plans to relocate to Los Angeles as Aaliyah was poised to make an all-out assault on Hollywood. It remains to be seen what will become of the property in the wake of Aaliyah's untimely death. Aaliyah was given an elaborate send-off in New York that stretched from Manhattan Funeral Home to St. Ignatius Loyola Church on Park Avenue. It was a funeral that was reserved for heads of state and royalty. Hundreds of fans lined the streets, laymen and celebrities alike. Some of the notable names that attended the private ceremony: Sean Puffy Combs, Timberland, Jay-Z, and former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. Following the service that lasted more than an hour, 22 white doves were released into the sky, one for each year of the singer's life. As for the many movies that Aaliyah would have done and the soundtrack albums, certainly others will step in. Yet Aaliyah can't be replaced and won't be.
Yeah, man, Aaliyah, she did mean a lot, you know. She's sexy, whatever, you know what I'm saying, but she meant a lot to me because a nigga like me want to sing and shit. A nigga like me want to sing, but, you know, her words, her album and everything, I listened to every word. She was positive, you know what I'm saying? She was positive. She knew what she was saying. She knew what she was about. She represented us as black folks, you know what I'm saying? And the day I heard her die, man, I felt like running around the block, just, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, people gotta, you know, go sometime, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we just gotta give it up to the Lord. So, that's it.
Her type of music was, it was very different. It was a very different sound, and I just liked every song. I just thought every beat, every lyric was just new, innovative, and I just thought she had great music. And when I first heard of her death, I was completely in shock. I mean, I just was like, no. She is coming in some new movie, you know, she has a new album coming out. I was like, there's no way this is happening. And I saw it on the news, and I just paused for a second and thought. I was like, I saw her in that, the movie she was in, I don't know the name of the movie, but she was awesome in that movie. And it was just a big shock. I was just in awe for days. I just couldn't believe that she just passed like that. It's a very horrible thing because she was a very, very talented person, and for that to happen, for that type of thing to happen to such a young person, such a talented person, is, I don't know, it's just bad. It just shouldn't have happened.
When I first heard Aaliyah went down in the plane, I wanted to cry. I felt like I lost one of my family members because she touched so closely with her music. She just came across so well. She had a very good soul, and I thought to myself, the first thing I said was, her instincts must have told her, don't get on this plane, and she didn't listen to her instincts, and it just taught me to follow my instincts always. And I think her music represented a good upbringing from her family, and just such a lovely soul. She was a beautiful person. They say the good die young, and she's an example of that.
I think Aaliyah was trying to portray her as an artist, you know what I'm saying, a little different diversity to the hip-hop game, you know what I'm saying? Hip-hop, R&B in general. You know, she had skills of what she did, you know what I'm saying, when she collabed with Timberland and R. Kelly, you know what I'm saying, just came together all good, you know? That's what that's what I feel she brought to it. She better than a lot of R&B people out to me right now, and will be for a long time. If you ask me, you know what I'm saying? Real tight.
How did you feel when you first heard that she had passed?
I mean, the homie woke me up like 6 o'clock in the morning and said he heard on the news, and I was like, I mean, I wouldn't say it was sad, and I wouldn't say it was, you know what I'm saying, good, you know what I'm saying? It was her time. It proved that she had a destiny. Most people die at a young age when they have a destiny, you know what I'm saying, when they getting forth a message across, you know what I'm saying? That's how, you know what I'm saying, that's just how I feel about the whole thing.
Message of one.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Message of one.
Message of one.
Message of one.
You know? So, basically, that's it.
Well, like, Aaliyah's, like, music to me represented, you know, like, everlasting relationship, hope, you know what I'm saying, like, life after pain, you know, because it was like, her music was so, like, painful, but there was always, like, a light, you know what I'm saying, at the end of her music. you know, on everything, you know what I'm saying? She was always trying to work it out to where, like, other females want to just run to another, you know, or, like, cheat on, you know what I'm saying? She was either, you know, us or nothing, you know what I'm saying? We find a whole nother life, you know what I'm saying, separately. And when I heard that she passed, I had just bought the album, you know? I shed a tear personally, and I cried, you know, and I smoked a blunt. And I went into my car, and I just sat there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just basically just listened to her whole album like 3 or 4 times, truthfully, from the heart. Because, I mean, I represented her, you know what I'm saying, even though she didn't know me, you know, and she was basically like an inspiration to me, you know what I'm saying, as far as like being an artist myself, you know, basically. I'll forever miss her on the reals, you know, on the reals. I love you, Aaliyah. That's real.
How do I feel about Aaliyah as an artist? You know, I thought it was cool what she was doing. She was creative, not only as a musician and a songwriter and a singer, but as somebody who was looking to explore different areas like acting and really taking on her personal life and involving friends. And almost like I felt like she was bringing up my generation, you know? She was real positive for my generation. So I thought it was cool, and that's what I liked about it, you know?
When she first passed, how did you feel?
How did I feel? You know, it was, couldn't believe it almost. I guess it was, I'm really into music, and I like a lot of different music. So even to watch anybody who's familiar with the story of La Bamba, you know, those guys, they were great artists. So it was sad to see somebody go at such a young age. But I think everything happens for a reason, so maybe she went allowing somebody else to come up and take her place, you know, because she had it so good for so long, and she was so fortunate that maybe she wanted, you know, maybe God saw it as some passing on for another opportunity for somebody else to come up. So hopefully things will work out and something positive will come from all this, and you move on, and, you know, you hope your prayers and everything works out for the family and friends, and that's about it.
It's about unity. It was about bringing the world together, you know, about bringing the black, the white, the yellow together. I mean, I really felt connected by her. Bill?
Yeah, I would second that. I mean, I just felt I felt a sense of depth about her work. It was just outstanding in terms of what it brought together and where we can go from here as a group and what we need to do.
I felt Aaliyah's message was that she just wanted to get out there and make her music. And it's really sad that she died. I mean, I felt she was really gifted and talented. And as a dancer and as an artist myself, I really am going to miss her a lot. So, I mean, it's sad. I hope she's in a better place.
Yeah, and I think she was an inspiration. She was an inspiration to so many teenagers because she was really on her way to making it and making it really big. And she didn't really come from a lot of money. She could have made it so big, and it's just so sad. I was so sad on that day that she passed because I think we lost someone really important. So, thank you.
Aaliyah's message was to any black female that you can be strong and you don't have to portray yourself as, how can I say, like a hoe. Like, not to put anyone on the front, but she came out as not revealing and showing her body as just a beautiful person who was very beautiful, who could sing, and just, she was inspiration to me and to all of us. Aaliyah, like when she passed, she was like a sister to us when she passed away because her music was so inspirational. The love songs, the songs that made you think, I was very hurt when she passed away. Very hurt.
So when you first heard the news, what did you think?
I didn't believe it. I thought it was one of the hypes, you know, how people try to make things up. And then when I seen it on the news, I was hurt, really. You wouldn't think you would be hurt because we never knew her personally. But when you think about it and you listen to her music, you did know her personally because her music was so inspiring and positive, very positive. It made me be stronger. That's what it did. And I'm not going to cry because that's not what you're supposed to do when people pass. I'm just going to think of her as an angel that went on to, and someday that we'll see her again. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amy,
And when I first found out that Aaliyah had passed, my friend called me up on the telephone and had told me, guess what? A plane went down and Aaliyah was on it. And I was very sad. I take these things very personally. And a lot of reasons that celebrities are so well loved by their fans is because they in some way touch their fans' hearts, and that's so important. And Aaliyah had touched mine. So I was very sad, very much the same way I felt when Princess Diana died, and John F. Kennedy Jr. And Aaliyah represented the common artist. She wasn't pretentious, she didn't have an attitude, and she really truly loved her work, and that came out, and that is one of the reasons why her fans respected her so much.
What did you feel her message was to the people, to you personally?
Her message was to follow your heart, and that you don't have to make decisions that are not good for you. You don't have to make decisions that are unhealthy or uncompromising, and I felt that she never compromised her values one tiny bit in her music and in her film work.
Thank you.
She was a talented black young woman, you know, just starting to blossom. She was cool.
Mm-hmm.
She was fine.
Yeah.
You know.
What were your first initial feelings when you heard that she had passed?
Shock.
Shock?
Disbelief. Yeah, disbelief. I mean, it was a tragedy. Actually, I knew two of the people that were on the plane with her.
Really?
From back in the day, doing hair and stuff. So it was a real shock. Yeah.
Thank you. Just don't move for a second. He's good. Thank you.
I appreciated that, you know, she had something positive to offer. You know, because there's a lot of messages out there and so forth, and hers was a little better than I feel than other people's. And I guess probably the thing that bothers me is that, you know, she went young. And we like to think that no one should go young, and it's just, personally, it was one of those shot in the arms, one of those reality check type things, and it's a message we need to relay to other young people. In her case, she had something positive to offer at a young age. She accomplished quite a bit, and our goal, the message, one of the examples I think we should get out of it is that, you know, live your life in such a way that, you know, that you don't know when you're going to go. So she's accomplished something. She's left something behind, and she's left made an impact on society and has influenced young people. And she did that in a short period of time. And there are a lot of us that don't do that in a long period, you know, in a lengthy amount of time. And so I just appreciate that her rearing and some other things had to have gone into play, that she was able to, you know, have something to offer, you know, society that's going to make a difference in people's lives.
And what were your first feelings when you heard she passed?
Well, just that, you know, that she went young. You know, first I didn't believe it because sometimes people say rumors all the time. You know, I'm still hearing kids argue about whether or not Tupac is still alive. So, you know, you hear one more thing, you know, get away, what are you talking about? But then when you hear it on the news, then you realize it's, you know, it's for real. So that was kind of sad. And then that it was young, and that the people that she was surrounded with were quality people too. And with so many negative things going on in our community, we need as many positive, especially all the black males, you know, that we needed those males, you know, to continue to be positive in their community and to their families, you know. They were probably raising children, and some of them, and I knew that was going to be missed, and that was sad that a pool of quality black professionals, you know, left suddenly, that were actually doing something positive and doing something for people and for themselves.
Just stay right there for a minute.
Hi. Okay, I was like a big fan of Aaliyah because I always watched Diary and stuff like that, her shows, and I felt really close to her, and like she's like my sister, you know? Because yeah.
And like when she died, we started crying and everything, and we felt like really bad, and yeah.
What did her music say to you?
That, what did she say?
She gave us a tip of how her life is, I guess.
She's like a big model for us.
She's a role model, yeah.
Yeah, role model.
What did you guys like about her?
Her
songs, she's really pretty.
And I like her songs, and she's not like those other artists that are sluts and everything.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Okay, like, you know, they're not
they don't wear
sluts.
like she doesn't wear that hoochie stuff, like Lil' Kim and stuff.
I mean, you know, Lil' Kim's a bomb and everything. Hi. Lil' Kim's a bomb and everything, you know, but, you know, Aaliyah was like better.
Yeah.
But oh my God, I have this article that says R&B Sing or Die, you know? And then I have it like on my wall, just thinking.
We have like
every
a whole
time
big posters over on the wall.
Every time I look at it, I just start crying. It's just really sad.
Where were you when you first heard the news?
I was in Oregon.
I was, my sister, I was downstairs, like, by the pool, and then my sister heard it on the MTV News, and then she told me, I was like, no, that's lying. And then I went to go up there. I was crying so much. Oh my God.
Sad when I heard about her death, plain and simple. She was doing great. She was just about to peak in her career. That's obvious to everybody. So for a tragedy like that to occur, I thought it was sad not only for her, but the whole crew that went down. It was just a terrible, terrible occurrence. What can you say?
Did you feel she sent out a message through her music?
I honestly can't say whether if I know if she did or not. I think that's what every artist does try to do with their music, though. So I don't think she would be any exception. I don't know the lyrics to her songs well enough to really say. But I couldn't see really any artist when it comes to their music not trying to send a message, because it's a reflection most of the time of their lives or their experiences. So I'm sure that's what Aaliyah was after as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Actually, the one that's talked about when you mess up, try again, that right there just tells you that anyone can do it, no matter where you're at or what stage of progress you have in your life. If you fail, don't stop there, just go and keep trying. And I was really shocked because she's too young to die. I didn't even know she was 22 years old. So it's sad. It's a loss, especially an African American loss. She's a very beautiful person.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, just stay right there.
As an artist, stay clean, stay positive, stay focused. Don't let nothing stop you. You know, that's basically it.
And how did you feel when you first heard the news?
I was shocked, really. I didn't believe it at first, and then found out it happened. It's like, really, it was a tragic loss. You know, young girl, didn't do nothing to nobody, never expected it, but that's it. Sad loss, big loss. All right.
Well, Aaliyah as an artist, she meant to me. What was cool about Aaliyah is that she was still level-headed even though she was like a superstar. She kept it real, and I can appreciate that quality in her because most people let all the hype and stuff of the business go to their head. And Aaliyah, when I first heard the news, I was devastated that somebody so young and so talented could lose their life like that. I mean, like, I guess death knows no name, and that, you know, when it happens, it happens. It's sad, but...
What I thought about Aaliyah was cool. She wasn't like anybody else. She didn't try to portray herself in like a different way. You know, she came classy. Not like, you know, other people, I won't say their name, but they came with the doing all this and stuff. She came as in, treat me like a woman, how you want to be treated, and I treat you the same way, you know. But when I heard about it, I was shocked, you know what I'm saying? People kept playing on my Twitter saying she died, and I really didn't want to hear it because that's negative. But then when I heard it, I was like, dang, you know, that's like the homegirl. She was like a sister to me, even though I didn't know her personally, but like, that was cool though, you know?
Thank you. I was pretty much in shock, and I didn't really believe it. I thought my friend was talking about some other Aaliyah that, you know, like was not, I don't know, was somebody that I didn't know. When I found out it was her, I couldn't believe it. But I mean, it just goes to show you, you never know what can happen to you. You gotta live every moment to the fullest. And I think she was a beautiful person with a beautiful spirit. And her message was pretty much all around positive. And I mean, her voice, you know, was nice and sultry and all that stuff, but I don't know. She was a very positive influence on all of the young girls, you know, not like, she wasn't like a Little Kim or like, you know, I'm not bashing or anything. Just, I don't know, she was more on that positive link of, you know, this is who I am, I'm keeping it real, but I'm not hoochie in any way, you know, or I'm not trying to be a sex symbol, even though she was very, you know, she was sexy in her own way, but she wasn't trying to flaunt all her, you know, her goods. She was leaving some to the imagination, and I think that's what she attracted a lot of people in that way.
Well, when I first heard the news, I was pretty sad because I always looked at Aaliyah as the only woman in the industry that didn't put herself out there. You know, she never really fell off. She always had hits coming. And to me, I thought it was like a lie. Like, I didn't really believe it when I first heard it. I thought it was a rumor going around, but when I saw it on the news, that's what really kicked it in. And it's just really sad to me because a lot of young women look up to her because, you know, she was a very positive role model. You know, she made you feel like
you know, you don't have to give up, keep pushing. She started when she was 15, you know, and as a young woman, she kept going on year to year, improving her ways and showing that it's possible to blow up, you know, and I don't know, I just really think that she was pretty dope, that's all. That right there, don't move.
Hey, how you doing? Aaliyah was a beautiful person to begin with. She had great goals. She had a great album that had come out. I had been with her about 2.5 weeks ago, and she looked like a lively person. Her music, personality, outgoing. Her music was her personality, because she came off real. I mean, I can't lay it any more realer than that. You know? She came off, you know what I mean? Rap Aaliyah, rest in peace, you know what I'm saying?
How did you feel when you first heard the news?
I was in the middle of doing a party, and a friend of mine, actually my brother right here, came up to me and told me about it. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. You know, I haven't watched the news yet. I really haven't. So I don't want to hear anything like that. It's just, I know it doesn't need to be anything more than that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaliyah, man, it seemed like when Aaliyah first came out with R. Kelly, we seen her grow from a little girl, really young, into a woman, especially from this last album. And it's a shame that right when her album comes out, that's when she leaves us. When I first heard the news, I believe somebody gave me a call from Summer Jam and saying that somebody came out on stage, Ludacris, I believe, to say that she was gone. And I couldn't believe it. It was a shock. But in a way, it was also believable because it seems to me that all the good die young. You know what I'm saying? Everybody from Bob Marley, Jimi Hendrix, everybody young. Richie Valens died in a plane crash, Buddy Holly and all them. And that's exactly what it made me remember. It's like the good die young. And it's too bad. We're all going to miss her. We, matter of fact, did a party for Aaliyah about 2-3 weeks prior to this. And man, she was such a lively spirit. She was in the party, partying with people. Just real cool. Just a regular chick you can kick it with. And even though she was that big, she still kept it street and real. And we're definitely going to miss her. It's a shame she had to go so early.
Aaliyah, which is Swahili and means highest and most exalted one, put it best. She was indeed one in a million.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Oh, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long way from home. Yes, I'm a long way, ooh, a long way from home. Oh, sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Oh, sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Oh, sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone.